Too many things are going this way. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Even down to my travel, I'm like, ooh, if it's like off, that flight ain't for me, or this ain't for me. Like,
you know, so then that was kind of like a hold up. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? And
did that make you want to be a rapper more, or make you want to make more money to get it back?
Nah.
No, I'm not with him.
No.
Yeah, not by choice.
Imagine chasing your dream girl for almost a decade, finally winning her heart, only to lose it all in front of millions. That's Yo Gotti's reality right now. Angela Simmons once called him the best, glowing like she had found her forever. But fast forward to today, and she's walking away in silence, while GloRilla publicly clowns him on Instagram Live. What happened between the gifts, the Maybachs, and the whispers of loyalty slipping away? This isn't just a breakup, it's the collapse of a hip-hop fairy tale. And trust me, once you see how deep this story goes, you'll never look at Yo Gotti the same again. Angela Simmons summed it up with just 3 words: not by choice. That was her response when someone asked if she was single, and the meaning was crystal clear. Everyone knew she was talking about Yo Gotti. But here's where the story takes a twist. Fast forward to today, and the dynamic has completely shifted. Now it's Gotti who's doing the chasing, trying to win Angela back after GloRilla publicly embarrassed him in front of the entire world. What Instagram never revealed were the late-night calls, expensive gifts, and the low-key whispers that had Angela quietly pulling away long before that viral live stream. And to really understand the saga, you have to rewind back to 2015. That's when Yo Gotti made his crush official with the track Down in the DM. In it, he famously rapped, "I just followed Angela Simmons. Boy, I got a crush on Angela Simmons." No subtle hints, no coded bars, just a full-on confession broadcast to the world. Fans couldn't believe how bold he was. That single line became legendary, sparking years of jokes, memes, and a running narrative of him shooting his shot. And it wasn't like Angela was just another name in the industry. She's Reverend Run's daughter, hip-hop royalty, practically untouchable. Yet here was a Memphis rapper attempting to turn a rap lyric into a real relationship. Surprisingly, it worked. By 2023, rumors turned into reality when Angela and Gotti went Instagram official. Angela even posted a photo of the two together with the caption, "Yo, all I need." To the outside world, they looked solid, like the hip-hop grown-up couple everyone had been waiting for. Finally, a celebrity romance that wasn't drenched in drama. But social media is a highlight reel, not the whole movie. Behind those picture-perfect posts, cracks were already forming. Sources claimed Angela felt like she was putting in all the effort while Gotti's attention was elsewhere. His non-stop schedule left her feeling like she wasn't a priority. And honestly, it added up. Angela isn't a side character. She runs fashion lines, fitness brands, and wanted stability beyond red carpets and photo ops. Meanwhile, Gotti's CMG label was on fire, and GloRilla was everywhere after FNF blew up. She was in the studio with him, at the parties, always in the mix. At first, people chalked it up to business. But in this industry, whispers become rumors, and rumors turn into headlines. Before long, the streets were talking louder than ever. Whispers quickly turned into accusations. People began saying Gotti was getting way too close to GloRilla. Then came the breaking point. She jumped on Instagram Live and flat out humiliated him. Just like that, the image of Gotti as the man who won Angela Simmons was shattered. The fairytale romance? Gone. The picture-perfect couple? Done. What once felt like a rapper's dream come true had spiraled into one of the messiest public breakups the internet's seen in years. But the real drama runs deeper. The Gotti and Glo storyline has been dominating conversations, even though GloRilla herself hasn't had to say much at all. That silence, in fact, is what's making the noise louder. Fans online have already been side-eyeing the situation, pointing out that Gotti wasn't treating her like just another artist on the CMG roster. His moves weren't the standard label boss playbook. He was acting like a man trying to claim something bigger, something personal. Normally, when a label signs a rising star, there's a professional distance that gets maintained. Sure, artists might get perks, cars, jewelry, features, but it's always framed as an investment into their brand, a way to boost their image. With GloRilla, though, people started noticing Gotti's energy was different. It wasn't just business. The way he praised her publicly, the extra attention he gave, and the way he seemed to push her career forward with a kind of urgency, it didn't read like simple strategy. It read like attachment. And the internet, of course, doesn't miss anything. Fans began pulling receipts, comparing how Gotti treated other CMG artists versus how he treated Glo. The difference was clear. For some, it looked like favoritism. For others, it looked like something that blurred the line between professional and personal. And that's where the speculation really started. Because in hip-hop, perception matters as much as reality. The minute people's suspect feelings are involved, the narrative shifts. GloRilla, for her part, hasn't fueled the fire directly. She hasn't come out and confirmed anything, nor has she denied it with force. Instead, she's been moving carefully, posting her music, performing at shows, doing her thing without ever putting too much spotlight on the rumors. But even her silence became a statement. The less she said, the more people filled in the blanks. And when the whispers about Angela and Gotti's relationship troubles began to surface, everything clicked for the public. Suddenly, Gotti's every move with Glo was being re-examined in a whole new light. Was he really just investing in his artist? Or was there something more? That question has become the fuel behind one of the most talked about storylines in hip-hop right now, proving once again that in this culture, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you move when everybody's watching. And let's not forget the grand gestures. Think back to Angela's birthday. Gotti didn't just show up with flowers or a cake. He rolled up with a brand new Maybach truck, worth over $200,000, topped with a giant red bow. It wasn't just a gift, it was a statement.
Yeah! Let's go! Yeah, AP, baby! AP!
Angela once jumped on Instagram beaming, calling Gotti the best. The glow on her face had fans saying she looked like she'd just gotten engaged. The comment section blew up immediately. Viewers weren't buying it as standard CEO behavior. And just when people thought the grand gestures had peaked, Gotti dropped another bombshell, the Audemars. This wasn't just any watch. It was the 18-carat Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, a $60,000 timepiece sparkling on Angela's wrist. That wasn't about spoiling her. It was a statement, a flex, proof that Gotti wasn't just casually supporting her, he was investing deeply. Fans started connecting the dots. Is this really business, or something more? One commenter put it perfectly. She looks gorgeous, he buys her the best gifts, and every time he speaks on her, it's with pride. That's facts. And that pride showed up everywhere. Whenever Gotti spoke about GloRilla, it came off like a mix of proud CEO and a man bragging about his girl. He wasn't just funding her career, he was showing up. He popped out at her birthday in Memphis, hyped her on stage, and backed her like her biggest fan. None of this was quiet or professional. It was loud, emotional, and undeniably personal. Gotti made it clear he was riding for Glo. No sneaky moves, no hiding. It was all out in the open. And even though GloRilla never threw shade at Angela directly, her presence was loud enough to make people question everything. If Gotti was doing all this for Glo, what did that really mean for Angela? Because at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. And Gotti's actions had the internet buzzing non-stop. Meanwhile, Angela's IG told a different story. She shared a cryptic message. I want what wants me in all areas. What flows, flows. What goes, goes. It didn't sound random. It sounded like closure. Like a woman quietly signaling she was done fighting for a man whose loyalty seemed to be pouring somewhere else. Angela's energy was loud and clear. She wasn't competing. Insiders confirmed what fans already knew. Angela isn't the type to get caught up in jealousy or insecurity. That's never been her style. But don't mistake her calm for being naive. She wasn't about to overlook the subtle warning signs, even if they first appeared as nothing more than whispers and rumors. At her core, Angela wanted something simple: more time, more reassurance, more effort from Gotti. So when the breakup finally exploded and GloRilla clowned him on Instagram Live, leaving him looking completely out of place, it all made sense. Those perfect couple posts? Just smoke and mirrors. Now the tables have turned. Gotti is the one scrambling, chasing Angela back while the internet watches like it's the latest season of reality TV. But here's the twist. Angela's biggest move wasn't loud or messy. It was silence. No clapbacks, no rants, no subliminals, just composure. And in a world where drama usually steals the spotlight, that calm spoke volumes. If fans were waiting for her to drag Gotti through the mud, they were disappointed. That's not Angela's lane. Months before, when Angie asked if she was single, Angela simply smiled, paused, and said, "Not by choice, but you know, I respect him. Some stuff is better left unsaid." Again, much love and respect to him. He's doing his thing. I'm happy for him. Supporters called it pure class, what some even described as a graceful goodbye. But after GloRilla's viral "I don't need no man" moment, and rumors of Gotti trying to circle back to Angela, those words "not by choice" hit way harder. Suddenly, it sounded less like a casual statement and more like quiet heartbreak. Like maybe she truly wanted things to work, but he dropped the ball. And while Angela didn't say much, fans are convinced she knew far more than she ever let on. About Glo, about the label drama, about everything. Some things really are better left unsaid, but her silence may have said it all. Fast forward to today, and insiders say Gotti has been quietly reaching out behind the scenes. But Angela's old interview now feels less like a casual remark and more like a warning shot. She left with grace, with dignity, and now he's chasing a woman who already proved she can live without him. That calm little MIC drop on Angie Martinez's show didn't feel heavy at the time, but after GloRilla publicly clowned him on IG Live, fans have been digging up those clips and replaying them like prophecy. And that's when the mess really started to snowball. Blogs have been buzzing non-stop, reporting that Gotti's been trying to slide back into Angela's orbit, sending flowers, leaning on mutual friends to smooth things over, even popping up in her Instagram likes on old posts. Let's be real, that's the universal "I miss you" move in 2025. The internet, of course, is eating it up. Some clown him for going from dream girl secured to ex crawling back in embarrassment. Others warn Angela not to entertain it, dismissing the whole thing as a desperate ex moment. Still, the hopeless romantics keep holding out hope, pointing to their shared history and saying maybe, just maybe, Gotti deserves another shot. Either way, the switch-up is wild. He went from looking like the boss who bagged his dream girl to the guy who fumbled it all, now scrambling as his situation with Glo unravels in real time. But here's the bigger question. Why is Gotti suddenly moving like this? So is Gotti really crawling back to Angela? Truth is, it might not even be just about losing her. Insiders say the bigger picture is that his entire empire feels shaky. Quiet whispers, heavy ones, suggest a possible RICO case circling CMG. And ever since the Young Dolph murder trial started popping back into headlines, Gotti's name keeps surfacing in the conversation. In this industry, nobody wants to be tied to that kind of storm. And as the saying goes, when there's smoke, there's usually fire somewhere close. From GloRilla's perspective, the timing couldn't be worse. She's one of the hottest young rappers out right now, stacking festival bookings, endorsements, and major brand deals. The last thing she wants is to get caught up in messy legal drama linked to her label boss. So when she hopped on IG Live and distanced herself, it wasn't random, it was strategy. Glo's protecting her bag before anything blows up. Meanwhile, Angela's world looks completely different. She's a mom, a businesswoman, and she's built a brand around health, fitness, and positivity. The idea of being dragged into RICO whispers and messy public drama? That's not part of a blueprint. Her polished, respectful interview moments weren't just grace, they were a clean exit, her way of saying she's steering clear of the chaos. On the other side, Gotti's image has taken a hit. His single, possibly losing his biggest artist, and scrambling to protect the empire he worked so hard to build. The irony? The same man who once bragged about winning over his longtime crush now looks desperate, trying to hold on while the internet watches his downfall in real time. And here's where it gets even juicier. Word on the streets says Gotti's been pulling out every move in the book to win Angela back. Grand gestures that fans can't believe are really coming from him. Flowers at her door, unanswered late-night calls, even attempts to set up private sit-downs just to beg for another chance. But Angela? She isn't budging. She's been laser-focused on her businesses, raising her son, and glowing in a way that screams unbothered. Some whispers even suggest she might be quietly entertaining new suitors, but whether that's fact or just speculation, the message is clear. Angela isn't waiting around for Gotti to get his act together. And that's when everything truly exploded. GloRilla's fallout with Gotti already had him looking weak in front of the world, but once the internet caught on, they didn't hold back. When your own artist distances herself from you on Instagram Live, that's damaging enough. But when the woman you chased for years, the woman you finally won, refuses to take you back, that's a double loss. Fans are split. Some are clowning him, saying, "Bro, now you finally realize what you lost." Others are clinging to the hope of a reunion, holding out for some grand love story comeback. But let's be real, this doesn't look like a fairy tale rebound. It looks like a man watching his world unravel. Label drama, artist drama, and now clinging to Angela, the one stable piece he ever truly had. The truth? Nobody knows Angela's next move. She's ghosted Gotti completely, never mentioning the GloRilla mess, instead pouring her energy into her businesses and her son. And sometimes, silence screams louder than words. If she continues ignoring him, this could go down as one of the most public heartbreaks hip-hop has seen in years. Meanwhile, GloRilla has stepped back too, leaving Gotti stranded right in the center of chaos he built himself. To understand how heavy this moment feels, you have to look at the sequence of events that got him here. Think about it. First, he manifested Angela Simmons for the whole world to see, turning what started as a rap lyric into an actual love story. Then, years later, he finally got the girl he'd been chasing. For a while, it looked like the dream had become real. Social media crowned them the grown-up hip-hop couple, a pair that represented maturity in an industry known for messy breakups and public scandals. But that picture didn't last. In a matter of months, the same man who once bragged about his win found himself dumped in front of millions. Not by a dramatic Instagram post or some public rant from Angela, but by silence. She pulled back gracefully, stepping away without theatrics, leaving the internet to do the talking. Now, here's the twist. Gotti is chasing a woman who has already shown she can thrive without him. Angela's been building her businesses, raising her son, and glowing with an energy that screams unbothered. The contrast between her silence and his scramble has become its own storyline. And that brings us to the part fans can't stop talking about, that once iconic down in the DM bar. When Yo Gotti first rapped about crushing on Angela Simmons, it felt like a fairy tale line, one that actually manifested into real life. For years, people replayed that lyric like it was the ultimate example of speaking your dreams into existence. But today, that same bar hits differently. Instead of symbolizing triumph, it feels like the setup to a story without a happy ending. What was once the perfect hip-hop fairytale is now looking like the final chapter of a saga that may close with heartbreak instead of celebration. The culture is watching closely, and for good reason. This isn't just celebrity gossip, it's about love, loyalty, and legacy colliding in real time. Gotti's brand has always been bigger than music. He's the CEO of CMG, a label that's been shaping hip-hop's current wave. He's the man who positioned himself as both businessman and artist, building credibility on two fronts. So when his personal life begins to unravel in public, it doesn't just affect the headlines. It threatens the way people view his entire image. GloRilla's role makes the situation even more complicated. As one of CMG's brightest stars, her sudden distance raises eyebrows. When she hopped on Instagram Live and made it clear she wasn't sticking around for the drama, fans read between the lines. To many, it looked like she was protecting her career, separating her brand from whatever legal or personal storms might be circling Gotti. In the eyes of the public, when your artist pulls back and your longtime love walks away, it paints a picture of a man losing grip on the empire he once controlled. And it's not just about optics. In hip-hop, perception is everything. The same internet that celebrated Gotti for shooting his shot with Angela is now clowning him for scrambling to get her back. Memes, reaction videos, and endless comment threads are picking apart every move. His flowers at her door, the rumored late-night calls, the supposed Instagram likes on her old posts. Fans are split. Some call it desperation, while others label it persistence. But either way, the conversation keeps circling back to one question. Has Gotti fumbled the very things that once defined him? Meanwhile, Angela's silence continues to echo. She hasn't dragged him, hasn't aired out private details, hasn't even entertained the drama directly. Instead, she posts affirmations about growth, self-worth, and letting things flow. To her supporters, that's not just random content. It's a message. A quiet declaration that she's moved forward, that her focus is on her own peace and her son's future. And in a culture that thrives on chaos, that kind of composure feels more powerful than any rant could ever be. But let's not forget the history here. Angela and Gotti's story has never been a simple fling. It was years in the making, a pursuit that played out in public and became part of hip-hop lore. That's why fans are so invested. To some, this isn't just another celebrity breakup, it's the crumbling of a storyline they've been watching since 2015. And for others, it's proof that even fairy tales in this industry have expiration dates. What makes it even more intense is the uncertainty of what comes next. If Angela decides to address the situation directly, her words could shift the entire narrative. If she continues to stay silent, that silence itself may be interpreted as the final word. And if Gotti keeps pushing publicly, it risks making him look even more desperate. Every move feels like a chess piece, and the culture is watching to see who plays the game better. At the end of the day, one thing is clear. Nothing fades quietly in hip-hop. When love, loyalty, and legacy collide, the fallout is always loud, always messy, and always unforgettable. Yo Gotti went from being celebrated as the man who manifested his dream girl to standing at the edge of losing it all, his artist, his image, and his love story. And that's why this saga has the internet locked in. Because beyond the headlines and the gossip, it's about the bigger question. Can Gotti bounce back from a downfall this public, this personal, and this messy? Or has the story already written its final chapter? One thing's for sure, Angela's next move will speak volumes. Whether it's silence or a statement, the culture won't stop watching until it knows exactly where this story lands.